The future car will be different for sure. It's not going to be as if a typical four-door or hatchback. It's going to be different because of many reasons. First of all, it seems like this is going to be an electric car, but we don't know yet whether it's going to be lithium-ion battery or fuel cell or sun panels or whatever, the solar panels. But this is for sure, this is going to be different. I think we need to look at the picture in three steps. One is now, what's happening, and the next step is, let's say, close future, and the third step is the far, so what's going to be in the long term. So it seems like we will be living with the internal combustion engines together with the full electric battery cars and hybrids in many different scales, mild hybrid or regular hybrid vehicles, or sometimes plug-ins and range extenders. So now the industry is in kind of hesitation about where to go and then how to go. And this is normal because this is a kind of a migration from internal combustion engine, typical passenger car, to electric car with a shape of SUVs or CUVs. So the next coming period, which is near period, let's say, is going to be a vehicle with a concentration of lightweightening because of electrification. And at the end of the day, far, it's going to be fully autonomous, fully connection abilities, meaning rather than a human being driving the car, vehicle itself, it will drive by themselves and communicate with many things, vehicle to vehicle, vehicle to infrastructure, and vehicle to authorities. So at the end of the day, that's going to be very different. Of course, commodities and raw material supply is an issue, and then it's going to be an issue. The typical example is lithium-ion batteries, or any kind of batteries is going to be in the future available. So due to two subjects, commodity and raw material, is an issue. I think the companies are making many investments in many places. Like, for example, if you take battery cells as an example. So the cell production is one thing, but the customization of the battery, which means the battery pack, which is unique to each and every vehicle. And if you look at the overall picture of electrification, only a piece of it, which is packaging of one battery, is a kind of an industry. So in the past, electrification was only a fantasy, but now it's the reality. And how we're going to create the cells and the packaging of the battery requires design and accommodation of many things, and integration this battery packs into the vehicle. It will require more engineering, it will require different way of looking, and it will definitely require out-of-box thinking on our very conventional automotive business, which is a kind of an evidence that that's going to be different. Turkey auto industry is in the world qualification is on the 14th position, right? This is a global player. And actually we are very strong in supplying automotive products to European community. And so what is going to happen is, as I just described, different. And Turkey has already started working on how we become again and sustain our position in the world and European qualifications in terms of auto producer and auto developer in the next coming future. And we already started establishing a good basement for our big building. R&D is taking a very important part of this business. And of course, the human asset. This is another subject that, some organizations, they're ignoring it, but I believe that this is very important. So we must invest people in a proper way, and we must improve our infrastructure, and R&D overall will define the future. And Turkey is ready for it, and Turkey is coming to a bright position in terms of preparations for the future. It's not something you can solidly hold. I can say very openly that this is unpredictability. So 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, we've been talking about all different things. So if you look at the trend charts, you see electrification, you see fuel cell and lithium-ion batteries, connected cars and autonomous. Industry is still searching what's going to be the leading technology in the future. And what is difficult is to make a proper prediction for the future to stay in the business and be the leader in the organization, overall auto organization. I'll give you one example. Majority of the investments in the connected car, autonomous car, and electrification of the vehicle, they have not been done by the auto industry companies. They've been done by the companies who are totally outside of auto business, but they are holding the very important and valuable asset, which is data. So future is going to be very challenging.